Today we're looking at composite figures. Here are the objectives we'll be covering and our new vocabulary term. The definition of a composite figure is a figure that is made up of simple shapes such as triangles, rectangles, trapezoids, and circles. To find the area of a composite figure, you'll find the areas of all of the simple shapes and then add them together. Let's look at this example. It's asking us to find the shaded area. Since we do not have a formula for that kind of shape, we're going to use composite figures. So we can divide this shape into a couple of different objects. We have half of a circle on top and a trapezoid on the bottom. If you don't remember the trapezoid formula, you could also divide it into a half of a circle, a rectangle, and a triangle. So let's start with finding the area of the half circle. So the area formula is pi r squared, but since we want half of the circle, we're going to do half pi r squared, or pi r squared divided by 2. We're given the diameter of the circle is 20, but since we need the radius for the area formula, half of the diameter would be the radius, which is going to be 10. So by plugging it into the formula, we get 50 pi millimeters squared. The next shape I want to find is the area of the triangle on the right. The area of the triangle is going to be 1/2 base times height, but we do not know what the base is. Looking at the bottom of the trapezoid, we see that the entire length is 32 millimeters. Looking at the bottom of the circle, or the half of a circle, knowing that that's 20 millimeters, we could subtract 32 by 20 and we'll get 12. So we know that the base of the triangle is 12. Looking at the left of our shape, we know that the height of the triangle has to be 14. So by plugging that into our triangle formula, half of 12 times 14 would give you 84 millimeters squared. And then the last shape that I want to look at is the area of the rectangle. The rectangle formula is base times height. Since the top of the rectangle is 20, we know that the base is 20. And we see that the height of the rectangle is 14 on the left. So using 20 times 14, we get 280 millimeters squared. So to find the entire area, or the part that's shaded, we're going to add all of our areas together. So 50 pi plus 280 plus 84 will give us approximately 521.1 millimeters squared. Now let's look at this example. Find the shaded area. Here we have some more unique shapes, but think about dividing the figure into parts that you're familiar with. One of the shapes that I see is a parallelogram. So we're going to find the area of the parallelogram. That's going to be the shape that's in the top left. Area of a parallelogram is base times height. The base of our parallelogram is 8 and the height is 5. So 8 times 5 would give us 40 feet squared. The second shape that I see is a triangle. That's the shape that's on the bottom. The area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Since the base is 10 and the height is 5, half of 10 times 5 will give us 25 feet squared. So the shaded area would be the total area. So we add our two together and you would get 65 feet squared. Here's another example. Try this one on your own. Pause the video and work it out. When you're ready, push play. I noticed that this shape can be separated into a rectangle and a triangle. To find the area of a rectangle, we want to use base times height. The base of the rectangle is 37.5 and the height of the rectangle is 22.5. Multiplying those two numbers together, you get 843.75 meters squared. The second shape is our triangle. So we want to find the area of the triangle. To find the base of the triangle, we'll take the entire length of the base, which is 75, and take away the base of the rectangle, which is 37.5. So 75 minus 37.5 is also 37.5. So the base of the triangle is 37.5. Now we need to find the height. We don't know the missing piece of the height of the triangle, but we do know that it is a right triangle. So we can use Pythagorean theorem. So a squared plus 37.5 squared equals 62.5 squared. Working that out, we find the height is 50 meters. So by plugging that into our area formula, half of 37.5 times 50 is 937.5 meters squared. So to find the total shaded area, we add those two values together and we get approximately 1,781.3 meters squared. Here's another example. See if you can figure this one out. It's a little different because you're going to have to subtract the area of the half circle from the area of the triangle because the area of the half circle is not shaded. Finding the area of the triangle, we'll use 1/2 base times height. The base of the triangle is 18 and the height of the triangle is 26. It may not look like the base and the height, but since it's a right triangle, if you can imagine rotating the figure, 18 could be considered the base and 26 the height because the height has to be perpendicular to the base. So the area of the triangle is going to be 1/2 18 times 26, which is 234 feet squared. Then to find the area of the half circle, again we're going to use the area formula pi r squared, but we're going to take half of that. Since the diameter of the half circle is 9 feet, we know that the radius is 4.5. So half of pi times 4.5 is 10.125 pi feet squared. So to find the area of the figure, since the half circle is not shaded, we're going to subtract the two values and get approximately 202.2 feet squared. Try this example. Pause the video, and when you're ready, push play. In this example, we're going to have to find the area of the circle and take out the area of the trapezoid since we only want to find the shaded area and the trapezoid is not shaded. So we're going to start by finding the area of the circle. The area formula for a circle is pi r squared. Since the diameter is 20, we know that the radius will be 10. So pi times 10 squared is 100 pi, and the area would be 100 pi centimeters squared. Then we're going to find the area of the trapezoid. The trapezoid formula is 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times the height. The base 1 is 12 centimeters, base 2 is 20 centimeters, and the height is 8. So by plugging that into the formula, we get 128 centimeters squared. So the area of the shaded figure is the circle minus the trapezoid. So subtracting those two areas, we get approximately 186.2 centimeters squared. Here's another example. Pause the video, work it out, and when you're ready, push play. In this one, we're going to do a similar process as the previous example. We need to find the area of the circle and then take away the area of the square since it is not shaded. So the area of the circle is going to be pi r squared. And since our diameter is 6, we know that the radius is 3. So pi times 3 squared is approximately 28.3 inches. Now to find the area of the square, you could use the rhombus formula since a square is a rhombus. So that's 1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. Or we could do base times height. I would probably use the 1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2 because that's a little bit easier. That would be 1/2 of 6 times 6, and that's going to give you 18. Or you could find the side lengths of the square, which are approximately 4.24, multiply those together, you would still get approximately 18 inches squared. So to find the area of the final shaded area, you would take your area of the circle, subtract the area of the square, and you get approximately 10.3 inches squared for the shaded region. Here's another example. A company receives an order for 65 pieces of fabric in the given shape. Each piece is to be dyed red. To dye 6 inches of fabric, 2 ounces of dye is needed. How much dye is needed for the entire order? To find the area of the shape in square inches, we're going to divide the shape into parts. So we have 2 half circles, and they're going to have the same area as one circle, and then we're also going to have a square. So let's start with the area of the circle. Since the side of the square is 3 inches, we know that the diameter of the circle is 3 inches, which makes the radius 1.5. So the area will be pi times 1.5 squared, which is 2.25 pi inches squared. Then the area of the square would be 3 times 3, which is 9 inches squared. So the total area of the shape is 2.25 pi plus 9, which is approximately 16.1 inches squared. So since we need a total of 65 pieces, we multiply those two values together, and that's approximately 1,044.5 inches squared. So the company will need that value times 2/6, which is approximately 348 ounces of dye for the entire order. Here's the last example. The lawn that Katie is replacing requires 79 gallons of water per square foot per year. How much water will Katie use with this new garden? I don't want you to find how much she's going to save because we're missing information. So just find how much water she will use with this design. Try it on your own. Pause the video. When you're ready, push play. So to figure this out, all you would need to do is find the area of the three shapes, the two rectangles and the trapezoid. The area of the rectangle, 28.5 times 7.5. The area of the trapezoid, 1/2 12 plus 18 times 6. And the area of the bottom rectangle, 12 times 6. You add those together and you'll get 375.75 feet squared. Since she has 79 gallons of water per square foot per year, we multiply those two numbers together and get approximately 29,684.25 gallons of water. And that's it.